The hell out of here. This is going to be a short episode today. Basically, I want to talk about the things I did over the weekend, things I set out to do. I got a better setup on my camera situation. So in the summertime, when I'm shooting at a regular goddamn hour, I'm not going to be shooting at night where you guys can't see a goddamn thing. It's gonna be interesting. I like this setup right now. It works. It's the angle I like. It's not showing my double chin, even though I'm just like overweight. It's not like I have two chins just hanging around, but when you have that one angle, it's really bad. So anyway, I feel like I should talk about Devilman Crybaby on Netflix, because I binged that over the weekend, and god damn, that was so good! It was so good because they really honored the source material, but they threw in like nice little things here and there that for people that have never seen it, like if it's their first introduction, it works. I mean, there was a lot of crazy things in the manga that got translated very well to it, and the thing that I want to say out loud is don't have a lot of expectations about what it could be, and just take it for what it is, because I don't know how to tell you this, guys, but it's a tough one. I mean, like, Go Guy, when he made the manga, he did not make it exactly like the anime. So, funny backstory about the old days, he created it based on a previous work of his, and it's a very tricky thing to talk about in terms of like which one's more accurate, because truthfully they were making them at the exact same time. I think the Devilman manga made it to print a month before the anime debuted, and Go Guy is one of those guys that I don't know if they talk about him a lot, but he does like heavy stuff with crazy things going on. Like Violence Jack and Mazinger are two things of his that I really need to track down, because I haven't read them in full or watched them in full. I don't know if Mazinger had a manga or if it went straight to anime, but he did a lot of innovative things, like in Ava, when they're in the mechs. I know there's a particular term that I'm supposed to be using for them, but they're mechs. When that pilot's cockpit fills up with liquid, and that's what they're stuck in. Go Guy, I want to say he's the first one I can think of that did it. So he might be the inventor, he may not be. Who knows? So anyway, Devilman Crybaby, really good on Netflix. I watched Frontier last weekend. That was really good. It's an argument that Jason Momoa can act and do more than just like sit there and wear dark eyeshadow. So I would recommend those two. Devilman Crybaby more, but I'm giving you a trigger warning, because that's what everyone asks for nowadays. It gets dark real quick, and there's moments where it's kind of letting up, but not really. So it's an EDITE anime, so watch out. Like, you'll understand what I'm saying if you if you watch it, or you could probably figure it out if you are good at putting words together. All right, so on to personal matters. Let's see. I did write up some submissions to the Red Stylo contest, the anthology. They're doing a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I did write up 2 of them. One I'm happy with, one I'm not, because it doesn't really get at the flavor that I'm trying to bring to the table, and in a pitch that's very important. Very. So the third one, and you're only allowed 3, so my goal this next few days between now and Friday is to write up several more pitches that fit in their Dr. Jekyll section or Mr. Hyde section. I'm going to pick my best 3. I'm going to ask some people that are like pop culture connoisseurs, story connoisseurs, like people that I trust their tastes on, and see what they think. Then, let's see. I uploaded a couple videos to YouTube. They're not really videos. They're half-ass podcasts. They're not half-ass podcasts. They're video podcasts that don't move. Like, they're a single image. Like, it's me and my buddy Aaron talking about One Piece. Now, there's 3 up right now. And there's no guarantee that there's going to be a regular schedule in those. Basically, we sit down for at least an hour, maybe a little less, and talk about, we talk One Piece, one arc at a time. So the first episode was, from the first episode, or first arc, because here's the thing, I haven't read every single chapter. I binged in 3 months all 800 episodes, 800 plus episodes of One Piece. I binged them for 3 months. I just episode after episode after episode on weekends and at night when I wasn't doing stuff, and I just caught up. And that is a motherfucker. That takes a lot of time. You learn to skip the openings because it'll save you about 2 days worth of watching movies on a tablet or on your TV, on Netflix. No, it was Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is the one I watched it on. It wasn't Netflix. Anyway, One Piece to me is one of the better ongoing shonens out there, and it's been going on for 20 years, I think. This was the past year was the 20-year mark anniversary, and I kind of know how people do it, but it like I've been a fan of Berserk for 20 years, and because I found out about Berserk before the internet became like really mainstream popular. I want to say I found out about Berserk in anime form at Blockbuster Video because they had either a VHS or a DVD. I don't know what the exact media was. I know I saw it on DVD there of the Golden Age anime that they did for the first season. So that was my first experience with Berserk. It might have even been on I want to say like a premium channel, like a Cinemax or an Encore, because I know I watched the original Hellsing that way. The original Hellsing I recorded on VHS on Encore when they did like the 1 a.m. anime shows. And I wanted to say I watched a bunch of Berserks the same way. So when the internet happened, I was like, oh, there's manga scanlations? There's people translating and posting it up on there? Okay, I'm gonna get me some Berserk. Like, and I loved it. I caught up, and like, I understand why fans are very territorial about their trials, shall we say, like the notches on their belts for how long they've been a fan, how hardcore of a fan are you? Because hypothetically, there's going to be some kid who's never heard of A Song of Fire and Ice, who's never been able to watch Game of Thrones, and he's going to sit down, or she, it's probably going to be a she, because why not? So, when the kid sits down to read all 7 Game of Thrones, no, A Song of Fire and Ice books, they're going to read every single book from back to front in, let's say, a month. Because it's a kid, they got plenty of time, it's summer vacation, like, let's be nice, it's summer vacation. They're going to read the complete A Song of Fire and Ice in a month. Meanwhile, some guy or woman, there's plenty of women that are fans of George R.R. Martin, who read A Game of Thrones in 1990, whatever the hell, 91 or 93, they've been waiting over close to 30 years. 30 years for all those books. All of them. Like, I think I have issues at, like, waiting for the books because, like, I started when I was in college with the 5th one, which was the latest to come out. And then I tracked down the previous 4 because I found Game of Thrones on HBO first. And there's, like, whenever I complain about George taking a long time, there's probably just somebody in the room who's been waiting a lot longer than I have, thinking to themselves, that's cute. So, how the hell did I get on that tangent? Alright, anyway, so, talking about One Piece, talking about Berserk. One Piece is, to me, one of the better shonen mangas of the last 20 years, because in that time you've gotten Naruto, you've gotten Bleach. Trying to think of other ones that have come and gone since, and I just gotta say, I mean, the inventiveness, the sense that you, like, the things that are hinted at 10 years earlier come out and play. So, like, check it out on YouTube. It's Matt and Aaron Talk One Piece. It's real simple. We have the first arc, which is from meeting Luffy and all them to Logtown. And then the second episode is Alabasta arc. Then we have Sky Island arc. So those are our 3 episodes. I uploaded the last 2 over the weekend. I think Adobe Clip is probably one of the better apps that I've downloaded in the past 5 years, just because it allows me to do so much on my phone. I mean, it's a very basic editing tool, but yeah, it's really good. So that's what I'm going to be using to make these videos for now. What else do I have to do? I have the plans for the 2 light novels that I'm doing, and got both of them pretty much outlined. I'm debating whether I should do Anathema or Whatever Happened to Shield Lad first, but I think I'm going to do Whatever Happened to Shield Lad just because. It's not that I feel more passionate about it, it's just that I'm less afraid of it. Because for the same reason why I'm like gonna rewrite the pitch that I'm not too happy with, the flavor isn't there, the depth isn't there, and like that's the difference between like hack writing and not hack writing. Hack writing, it's like take a whack at it, oh, good enough, and then whatever. But that's how I look at it. Like, if there is like methodology, there's craft, if there's precision in what the person is trying to do, I don't accuse them of hack writing, no matter how bad it is. Like, if you are expecting the reader or the viewer to know what you're talking about without like establishing the foundation of what you're talking about first, I mean, there's a difference between like taking it by the hand and like, hey, establishing, hey, this is the relationship here, like this is how things interact. So I'm gonna start with Whatever Happened to Shield Lad. So my goal for Friday is I want to have 5 sections of Whatever Happened to Shield Lad done, and I'll walk you guys through like my process on Instagram, and I'll walk you guys through my progress. I know Warren Ellis does this one thing where he has a word meter, a word count meter on his projects, and that's got to be torture. I mean, you're constantly typing out words just to push the meter that's like that you put on yourself for no. Like, I don't know about no reason. I mean, if a publisher says, hey, give me 20,000 words, like, that's what you got to do, then I guess it works, but... And this is someone who's done National Novel Writing Month a couple of times, so I can appreciate how bad an idea that is. Or how great it could be. Like that meter, that full meter is probably gonna be the best feeling in the world, short of having a published book in your hands. Because like finishing a book is not the mountaintop. The mountaintop is it going off into the world. Like finishing the book is only 3/4 of the way. I mean, it's the part where you have to like trust others to do right by you and take the book and put it out into the world. I mean, I had a college professor who, like, I want to say it was like 10 years of rewriting and then trying to get a publisher for it, like his first book. And the worst thing I think could ever happen to a person, or a writer I should say, is you get to the stage right before it goes to print, because once they start printing it, like, they're gonna sell it, like, they're not wasting their money. But the worst feeling has to be like you're about to get to the printing stage and then they're like, nah, we don't do this kind of stuff, sorry, and you're back to the 3/4 of the mountain. So, all right, guys, I'll see you on Friday.